Imagine a reality where the rules are different, history takes a detour, or science defies expectations. Today, we journey into that reality. Imagine a catastrophic event that would make the dinosaur-killing asteroid look like a small rock in comparison. What if a meteor 10 times bigger than the Chicxulub asteroid were to collide with Earth? The consequences would be devastating, with massive destruction on a global scale, wiping out entire cities and ecosystems. The impact would trigger massive earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions, making the very survival of humanity uncertain. In this video, we'll explore the possibilities of such a catastrophic event and what it would mean for our planet and its inhabitants. From the initial blast to the long-term effects on the environment and human societies, we'll delve into the science behind the destruction and the potential consequences of such an event. So, buckle up and get ready to explore one of the most terrifying what-if scenarios in the history of our planet. In the vast expanse of space, a danger unlike any we've ever faced is heading straight for Earth. A meteor, 10 times larger than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, is on a collision course with our planet. What happens when an asteroid of this magnitude strikes? Could humanity survive such an impact? Or is it the end of the world as we know it? This isn't a distant sci-fi scenario or a doomsday fantasy. This is real, a countdown to humanity's survival. Can we stop it, or is the end already upon us? When a meteor 10 times larger than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs slams into Earth, the consequences would be unlike anything we can imagine. The explosion would release an unimaginable amount of energy, millions of times greater than the most powerful nuclear bomb ever detonated. The shockwave would travel across the planet, leveling cities, shattering mountains, and obliterating everything in its path. But it doesn't stop there. The impact would ignite massive fires across the globe, turning forests, cities, and even oceans into raging infernos. These firestorms would create a thick cloud of ash, darkening the skies and blocking out sunlight for years. As temperatures plummet, an impact winter would grip the planet. Crops would fail, food would become scarce. The entire world would be thrust into a cold, dark, and hostile environment. The world as we know it would be unrecognizable. Humanity would face the collapse of its societies, ecosystems, and infrastructure. But what if humanity could respond in time? Could we prevent the apocalypse? Or are we already too late to stop the inevitable? As the meteor races toward Earth, the clock is ticking. Humanity's survival depends on one thing: our ability to act fast and respond with everything we've got. Technology and innovation. One of the first solutions that comes to mind: space missions. Could we send spacecraft to intercept the meteor, or at least slow it down? The idea of sending a fleet of rockets to knock it off course isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. With our most advanced rockets and technology, we could deploy nuclear devices to explode near the meteor, changing its trajectory and preventing a collision. But what about the sheer scale of this challenge? A meteor 10 times larger than the one that wiped out the dinosaurs requires an unprecedented level of coordination, technology, and speed. Could humanity pull this off in time? The question is, do we have the necessary resources, and could we work together on a global scale to make it happen? And what if we already had defense systems in place? Imagine a network of space-based defense systems ready to protect Earth from threats like this. If humanity had invested in space defense years ago, could we have developed advanced technologies capable of stopping a meteor like this before it ever became a real threat? We've got the technology to intercept asteroids, but with a meteor of this size, even our most cutting-edge solutions might fall short. Would we be able to innovate quickly enough, or are we simply out of time? Politics and governance. As the meteor races toward Earth, the world faces a critical challenge. Can world leaders unite to solve the crisis, or will political divisions prevent us from taking the necessary action? In times of disaster, political boundaries and national interests often complicate collaboration. But in this case, a unified response might be the only thing that stands between humanity and total destruction. If we had a global emergency response system in place, governments could coordinate resources, space missions, and defense strategies to prevent the meteor from striking. However, the reality is that political divisions may cause chaos when we need unity the most. The ability to work together on a global scale might determine whether we survive or fall. Culture and society. As news of the meteor spreads, society faces a pivotal moment. The response to such a catastrophic threat would shape the course of our final days. In the face of impending doom, humanity would either come together in a united effort to fight for survival or spiral into chaos. People might join forces, sharing resources and preparing to face the worst as one. Or fear and panic might take over, breaking down social structures and leaving individuals scrambling for safety. Daily life would transform rapidly. Communities would either unite in a final push to fight back or dissolve under the weight of uncertainty. People may seek shelter, prepare for the inevitable, or live out their final days in defiance of the end. How we respond to the final hours could be just as important as the meteor itself. Survival against the odds. Even with our best efforts to stop the meteor, the reality is that failure could still be an option. What if we're unable to deflect the meteor in time? The devastation would be inevitable, and the world would be forever altered. The initial impact would release an unfathomable amount of energy, obliterating everything in its path. Cities, entire regions, even countries would be wiped off the map. The question is, could humanity even survive such an apocalyptic event, even if some managed to escape the immediate destruction? With infrastructure shattered, chaos would reign, and survival would become a desperate struggle. Global collapse. The impact winter that follows would plunge the planet into an era of darkness and cold. With sunlight blocked by the ash and soot, global temperatures would drop drastically, and crops would fail across the world. Food shortages would lead to mass starvation, and the collapse of the food chain could destabilize entire ecosystems. Humanity would be pushed to its limits, fighting not only to stay alive but to rebuild the foundations of civilization. Could we endure such a long, dark period? Or would the social fabric break down, sending us into a new era of survivalism where order is replaced by anarchy? The ability to rebuild and adapt would be critical, but could humanity do it in the face of such overwhelming adversity? Extinction or adaptation? As Earth's ecosystems struggle to recover, the question remains, can humanity adapt to life in a post-meteor world? Would we learn to survive in a shattered environment, or would we face extinction? The long-term effects on the planet would be devastating. Life on Earth might never truly return to what it once was, and the scars of the meteor could last for millennia. In the end, we would have to ask ourselves, could we rise from the ashes of our destruction? Or would this event mark the end of human civilization? A new beginning. The meteor impact, while catastrophic, could be the spark for a new chapter in human history. Imagine the survivors, rising from the ashes of civilization, determined to rebuild from the ground up. The destruction might clear the way for a fresh start, free from the mistakes of the past. Humanity could forge a new path, creating a world that embraces innovation and cooperation, forging a stronger, more resilient civilization than ever before. From the ruins of our cities, new leaders might emerge, bringing together the best of our technologies, knowledge, and survival instincts. The darkness of the impact winter would eventually lift, and with it, the opportunity to build a brighter future from the remnants of our old world. End of the world. However, the meteor's impact could lead to a much darker outcome, the end of human civilization as we know it. While small pockets of humanity might survive in isolated regions, adapting to a broken, inhospitable world, the vast majority of life on Earth could be wiped out. The ecosystems would be too damaged to recover, and our fragile society might crumble under the weight of such a profound disaster. In this scenario, survival would become a constant struggle, isolated groups battling not just the environment but each other for limited resources. Even with the will to survive, the odds would be stacked against us, and civilization could regress into a fight for survival with little hope of revival. So what would you choose? Would you want to live in a world where humanity rises from disaster, rebuilding and growing stronger? Or is the fate of Earth sealed, no matter what we do? Is survival possible? Or is extinction the inevitable outcome? Maybe some things are better left to fate, and the world will turn out as it's meant to. Enjoying the chronicles of conjecture? If you're fascinated by mythical creatures, advanced worlds, and untold possibilities, please give us a like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment below with which fantastical scenarios you'd love to hear about next.